Welcome, 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 guys. Week 1. Of course, this is the week that half of us will be over 500 and half of us will be under 500 by the end of the week. It always looks better with that 1 and 0, and it looks like almost like an impossible climb at that 0 and 1. Of course, it's not impossible, but you guys get what I'm saying. Anyhow, I want to congratulate one more time the current champion of Fraggle Rock, which would be Despicable Me, Micah Dunbar. Oh, did I say Despicable Me? No, you lost in a pitiful final last year, actually. To the champions, Fraggle. You see how it says Fraggle, guys? That might be the key. It just might be the key. Teddy got it as he changed his name to, I think it's Boober, which makes sense for a ball game. But congratulate Hugo, and hopefully your reign doesn't end in a blazy, fiery crash that barely resembles a fantasy season. Looking at your team, I don't see it repeating, but I also don't see a horrible, horrible team. But anyhow, of course, game of the week will go to Gobo versus Centurions, because we always give our champion the game of the week in week 1. And with Centurions and Gobo going against each other anyhow, it does seem like one of the best matchups in the league this week. So it had a good chance of making it anyhow. It wouldn't have made it, but it had a good possibility. We look at ESPN's projection totals. Warning! ESPN's projected totals are always way too high in the beginning of the season. They always have everybody over 100 practically, 120s, 130s, like every team. They over-project in the very beginning. It happens all the time. So most of these scores that you see projected are probably not going to go so high. But I've been wrong before. Not as wrong as ESPN, but I have been wrong before. As we're looking at it, ESPN has Centurions a 20-point favorite, 124 to 104. It's a big favorite. I'm going to be honest with you, Gabo. Big favorite. And there's a reason for it. Centurions has a pretty damn solid team with late pickups in Reggie Bush and Dwayne Bowe. Really helped strengthen his team after the okay pick of Ahmad Bradshaw, and of course his receiving core in Fitzgerald, Johnson, and Newton. Centurions is definitely a threat to win this league because every single person on that team can blow up for 20, 30 points at any given week and help carry him. We'll see how he does on a week-to-week basis, but judging by week 1, let's go down Gabo's lineup really quick to compare to Centurions. Stafford going against St. Louis, projected at 17. I'm saying in the north 20s. LaShawn McCoy, 18 against Cleveland. Cleveland actually has a really good run defense, but McCoy still finds ways to get it done. Other than Matt Forte, closest thing to Marshall Faulk that I've seen since, Marshall Faulk. 18 points, I think, actually is a little high for McCoy this week. Give him 14. Fred Jackson against the New Jersey Jets, projected at 14. I'm not saying he's putting that much up. If he gets maybe a long screen pass or something like that, but I don't see him running against it as much as you would think. Anyhow, not 14 points. Give him single digits, 8. Then Jarvis Green-Ellis, one of my favorite picks that he has. Really like that pick with Cincinnati. Unfortunately, he's running up against Baltimore. 12 points. Let's cut it down to 10. AJ Green, obviously love him. Again, Baltimore's a little aging defense. The nice thing is you're not having Suggs taking some time away from Dalton. He's looking at AJ Green, still seeing at least one touchdown, about 80 yards on that. So give him 14 to 16. That seems about right. Dez Bryant, God knows what Dez Bryant's going to show up. Is it going to be the Dez that he has the talent for? Is it going to be the Dez that's been playing the last few years? They're projecting him at 16 against the New York Football Giants. I don't see that happening either. Give him 7 points for Dez Bryant. Aaron Hernandez, who's going to be For Gatkowski lovers out there, going to be the going to be the nemesis of him, the anti-hero of Gatkowski's fantasy land. Most people don't realize that he was hurt a lot of times last year, helping Gatkowski having those huge numbers. They're saying 3 against Tennessee. Actually, I'm going to say give him 40 yards and touchdown. That gives him 10 points. Eagles defense against Cleveland. You got to love that. Getting a lot of sacks on that rookie quarterback. Projected at 8. Going to give him a little bit more on that. I'm going to give him actually 11 fantasy points against Cleveland. He doesn't have a kicker standing out, but let's just throw the kicker a few points. Centurions, Newton against Tampa Bay. Like Newton either way, I definitely don't see him repeating what he did last year, which is going to knock him down a little bit. Obviously, the history shows that running quarterbacks who score that many touchdowns don't score over 7 or 8 next year. I think it's 6 actually. I think he actually will get to like 8 or 9 this year, but 16 a little bit much as he's going to try to cement himself in actually just passing. And if you look at his passing numbers after Week 8 last year, he actually had less yards per game than such people as like Flacco, Alex Smith, not Tavares Jackson, John Skelton. Who's John Skelton, right? All these people had better numbers than Cam Newton after Week 8, passing-wise. So look for I say you'd say sophomore slump, but it kind of was mid-rookie slump, to be honest with you. Matt Bradshaw, like against Dallas, 12 points, seems to hold up pretty well. Reggie Bush, really like that pick. He really showed he could be a feature back in Miami. And you know they like to run on there. He's projected at 15 against Houston's defense. I just don't see that happening. Houston, one of the most underrated defenses in the league. They lose Mario Williams, but they actually replace him with a more run-stopping and give Bush about, I'm gonna say 9 points actually only. Dwayne Bowe. Look for, by the end of the year, Dwayne Bowe will be the number 2 receiver on Kansas City. Number 2 receiver. I'm not going to tell you guys who he is. I know you guys will probably vulture him off my ass. Dwayne Bowe, 11 points against Atlanta. I think that's about right. Larry Fitzgerald against Seattle. Seattle, great corners. Larry's going to get his, but without a great quarterback, I just don't see him going up for 16. Give him actually only 8 points, all yardage, no touchdowns. Kelvin Johnson, Megatron against St. Louis. You got to love that, and anything that Matthew Stafford does to Megatron is going to count against Gobo. 23 points is going a little high to me right now. I'm thinking more 18 for Megatron. It's not 2011, boys. Vernon Davis against Green Bay. You got to love Vernon Davis against Green Bay. 11 points. I actually think he's going to start off pretty high, not just because I'm a Niner, just because I think the confidence from last year is really going to build on their passing game, and they're going to try to keep up with Green Bay. So I'm going to actually give him 17 points for Vernon Davis. 2 touchdowns, 50, 60 yards, something like that. So look for it around there. Lions against St. Louis for the defense. Gotta like that. Give me 8 points for the Lions. And Stephen Gatkowski, he's going to get points against Tennessee. Hopefully field goals instead of extra points. They're projecting him at 9. I think that's just about right. Overall, I think the returning champ actually gets dealt his first blow of the season and goes 0-1. I think Centurions takes this relatively easy. I'm saying 114 to 93. Good luck, guys.